Something is shifting, Scorpio, and it's been building beneath the surface for a long time. On July 18, as Mars trines Neptune and the moon enters Capricorn, a quiet but undeniable turning point begins. This isn't a flash of inspiration or a dramatic upheaval. It's a deeper, more soulful change. It feels like you're stepping into a room that's always existed inside you, but until now you kept the door closed. Perhaps you thought it wasn't time, or maybe you were afraid of what you'd find once you walked through, but now the door opens and what you feel on the other side isn't fear, it's a strange sense of readiness. For years, you've walked through cycles that made you question your light, your worth, and your place in the lives of others. You held your power inward, not because you didn't have it, but because you didn't trust the world to meet it with grace. And slowly that internal holding began to feel normal, like safety. But Scorpio, the astrology of this day, shows a release, not through force, but through permission. You're not being pushed into the spotlight. You're realizing you are the light and the dimness around you was never your doing. The sun in Cancer highlights your ninth house of higher vision, belief, and expansion. You are being shown not just a new path, but a reason to believe again. A sense of clarity begins to surface, not just in your thoughts, but in how you hold yourself. It's no longer about being noticed. It's about no longer hiding. This energy doesn't come with fireworks. It moves like a tide, lifting the parts of you that were once submerged. And from that space, new opportunities begin to appear, not gifts, but reflections of the depth you've cultivated all this time. This is only the beginning. What starts on July 18 sets into motion a long, slow bloom. But Scorpio, you've never needed speed. You've always needed truth. And that's exactly what's arriving now. Quiet, steady, undeniable truth. Keep going, it's yours. And as this quiet truth begins to settle, Scorpio, something else becomes unmistakably clear. There are parts of your life that can't follow you into what's next. The astrology around July 18 pulls you into a moment of release. And this time, it's not a choice made out of anger or escape. It's clarity. Saturn retrograding in Pisces speaks directly to your fifth house, asking you to confront where you've poured your energy into patterns that no longer feed you, where you've held on too tightly to connections, roles, or identities simply because they once felt necessary. But necessity is not the same as alignment. And this is not punishment. The universe isn't taking anything away from you to teach a lesson. It's simply helping you breathe again. Some doors close not because you failed, but because you've finally outgrown the room. Relationships, responsibilities, or even inner stories you've carried for years may begin to dissolve, and you might feel the ache of their absence before the relief settles in. That's okay. It means you cared. But it doesn't mean you have to stay. This part of the journey is subtle but sacred. You're shedding, not as an act of loss, but as an act of liberation. Old karmic loops unravel, not in a blaze of fire, but in the quiet decision to stop returning to what no longer calls your name. Let it go. You are not the same person who once needed it, and the person you're becoming doesn't need to prove anything anymore. You're finally free to walk forward without dragging the past behind you. And as the past loosens its grip, space is created, not just emotionally, but materially. Scorpio, the skies around July and August begin to shift. The energy of your second house, the domain of income, values, and self-worth. With Venus moving through Leo and Mercury entering Virgo by mid-August, your relationship with money begins to feel less like survival and more like sovereignty. You stop chasing what doesn't resonate. You start choosing what supports you not only financially, but energetically. There's a refinement happening, how you work, who you work with, and why you say yes. It's no longer about proving your worth through exhaustion or underpricing your brilliance just to stay in the room. Instead, your decisions become rooted in discernment. The right projects find you not because you're louder, but because you're clearer. You're no longer scattering your energy in all directions. You're investing it wisely, and the returns begin to reflect that. Late July through August opens a window for long-term investments, especially anything that aligns with your deeper purpose. Think sustainable, think strategic. This is not the time for impulsive gains. It's the time to plant something that will continue to nourish you for years. Money becomes less about control and more about trust. You're learning how to receive without guilt, how to spend without fear, and how to let your values speak without needing to convince anyone. You are the asset now. The energy you once spent surviving is being redirected into building. And Scorpio, no one builds power like you do. Quietly, deliberately, from the soul outwards. As your sense of direction sharpens and the flow of resources steadies, the universe prepares 3 precise alignments, 3 pivotal moments before the end of 2025 that will not just test your readiness, Scorpio, but reveal just how far you've come. These are not coincidences. They are cosmic intersections designed to accelerate your path and clear what still lingers in shadow. The first comes quietly between July 24 and August 3 under the energy of Mercury conjunct Venus and opposing Pluto. During this window, someone enters your field, not necessarily someone you know, but someone whose presence feels instantly familiar, even fated. They may not stay long, and their role might be subtle, a sentence, a story, a question that shifts something inside you. Don't overlook it. These are the moments that change everything without announcing themselves. You'll know it by the way it lingers in your mind and moves your body forward. Fate doesn't always knock. Sometimes it whispers. Then, as mid-September arrives and eclipse season draws near, something old begins to crumble. This could be a job, a title, a commitment, or even an identity you've outgrown. It may fall apart quickly without warning and stir a sense of fear or instability. But if you look closer, you'll see it's not chaos, it's clearance. The universe is removing something that you've silently outlived, even if a part of you still clings to the routine of it. Let it fall, let it go, because what follows is not emptiness, it's oxygen. And finally, as November opens, something long buried makes its way back. Not to haunt you, but to offer closure. This could be a person you haven't spoken to in years, a project you once abandoned, or even a debt, emotional or material, that returns to be reconciled. Scorpio, this is not regression. This is return with purpose. You are being offered the chance to rewrite the ending of a story that never found peace. This moment, if met with maturity, becomes a gift. A way to reclaim your power from the past without needing to relive it. Each of these events, while different in tone and timing, carries the same message. You are no longer who you were. And because of that, what once bound you no longer holds. This is your opportunity, not just to witness change, but to participate in it consciously as the author of what comes next. And Scorpio, everything you are stepping into now, every quiet decision, every surrender of the old is only the beginning of a much larger journey. What begins around July 18 is not a fleeting chapter. It is the first page of a new book that will unfold over the next 25 years, divided not by accidents or external events, but by internal thresholds. Each 5-year phase marking a deep transformation of who you are and how you live. The first 5 years, 20, 25, 2030, will be your awakening. After so much survival, this is the era where you say yes to living. You will begin again, not because you have to, but because you choose to. This is when you take risks, not recklessly, but bravely. You say yes before you're ready. You open the door even when you don't know what's behind it. It's the time to try, to reach, to create without waiting for perfect conditions. You'll likely change direction, relocate, step into unknown territories. This is not instability, it's ignition. It's your fire coming back online. The second phase, 2030-2035, will be about building. The scattered pieces you explored in the first years will begin to take shape. This is when structure finds you, not as a cage, but as a container. Your authority deepens. People begin to turn to you not because you're the loudest, but because your clarity speaks louder than noise. The work you do now, whether it's in your career, family, or community, will become foundational. It's where you stop questioning whether you belong and begin acting like you do. Your wealth, your influence, your reach. These aren't dreams anymore. They're blueprints you start living in. Then from 2035 to 2040, a new current takes hold. This is your mission phase. You're no longer figuring things out. You know who you are, and you begin leading from that space. Your wisdom becomes visible. Your voice becomes magnetic. Maybe it's through your business, your healing, your art, your presence, but you become someone people look to for truth. You won't need to announce your power. It will move through you naturally. This is where many Scorpios step into mentorship, teaching, guiding, not because of ego, but because it's time. You become a mirror for others' potential while remaining rooted in your own. The years 2040 to 2045 mark a quieter revolution, the phase of purification. After so much movement, you'll crave stillness, not out of exhaustion, but out of evolution. You will begin to let go of what no longer adds meaning. You might simplify your lifestyle, seek deeper solitude, or withdraw from things that once felt urgent, not because you are fading, but because you are refining. This is when peace begins to matter more than productivity. Your inner compass becomes sharp, clean, and unshakable. You become someone who no longer needs the world's approval to feel full. You just are. And finally, 2045 to 2050 will be the years of legacy. This is when the long seeds you've planted begin to bear fruit, not just for you, but for those who come after you. You'll see the impact of your work, your words, your way of living. You will no longer be reaching, you will be receiving. The world around you may change, but your center will remain intact. You won't be in search, you'll be in offering. This is when you understand that everything you've done was not just for survival or success, but for contribution. And in that realization, you will feel not only fulfilled, but at peace. Scorpio, this isn't about predicting a perfect life. It's about recognizing that what's starting now is a long, sacred unfolding, anchored in your choices, shaped by your courage, and lit by the fire of your own transformation. You don't need to rush. You only need to begin, and you already have. Of ground this 25-year journey into something tangible, Scorpio, the universe offers you not just a vision, but a rhythm, starting now. From July to December 2025, each month carries its own energetic instruction, a subtle assignment from the cosmos meant to align your actions with the deeper transformation already unfolding. These aren't random moods or external cycles. They are invitations for embodiment, ways to participate in your own evolution 1 month at a time. July is the threshold, with the sun still moving through Cancer and trining Neptune. The veil is thin and your intuition sharpens. This is not a time to wait for clarity. It's a time to create it. Set one intention every single day, no matter how small. Declare what you want, not with desperation, but with conviction. Opportunities may arise quickly, and they won't look perfect. That's the point. Say yes anyway. This is the month to begin before you're ready. August, with Mars entering Gemini and Venus continuing its radiant tour through Leo, ask for unapologetic presence. It's time to stop shrinking. You no longer need to seek approval to exist at full volume. Use your voice. Own your desires. Don't wait to be chosen. Choose yourself. Whether it's in your career, your relationships, or your appearance, act from power, not permission. Your magnetism increases the moment you stop explaining it. By September, the energy becomes sharper. With Mercury retrograding and eclipse season on the horizon, something may crack open unexpectedly. This is a clearing, not a crisis. Do not hold together what is naturally falling apart. Release with reverence. Let go with awareness. Whether it's an old narrative, a drained obligation, or an identity that no longer feels true, lay it down. The more you resist the fall, the more painful it becomes. But if you trust it, you'll feel the air return to your lungs. October is your recalibration. Libra season softens the edges and offers harmony after September's intensity. It's not about doing less, it's about doing differently. Rest becomes sacred. Silence becomes medicine. Seek balance in your relationships, in your body, in your thoughts. Say less, feel more, get close to the earth, to your breath, to what is steady. This is not retreat, it's restoration. The ground is being prepared for something new. By November, as the sun moves into your sign and Saturn stations direct, a deep internal decision begins to manifest outwardly. Movement calls you. Maybe it's literal, new city, new job, new space, or maybe it's energetic, a shift in how you carry your past, how you walk into rooms, how you take up space. Either way, it's a crossing. Something gets left behind and something else becomes possible. Move with intent, even if the destination isn't fully clear. And then comes December, bathed in Capricorn's patient glow and supported by Jupiter's steadying presence in Taurus. The seeds you've been planting since July begin to show, not in loud, dramatic ways, but in moments of softness, of ease, of quiet knowing. You feel stronger, more whole, more rooted. This is the time to receive. Let yourself enjoy what you've built, your body, your peace, your connections, your success. Celebrate, reflect, be generous with your gratitude, and let it ripple forward. These 6 months are not about achieving everything at once. They are about aligning with something greater than control, rhythm. If you follow that rhythm, not perfectly, but consciously, you'll discover that the universe was never asking you to leap. It was simply asking you to listen, 1 month at a time, one choice at a time. And Scorpio, every step you take now becomes the foundation for everything still to come. So Scorpio, as you stand at the edge of this new chapter, know this: nothing is happening by accident. Not the timing, not the people you're meeting, not the quiet nudges pulling you toward change. You are not being pushed. You are being remembered by your own soul, by the life you were always meant to live. This isn't the kind of transformation that explodes overnight. It's the kind that rebuilds you from the inside out, slowly, honestly, powerfully, over days, over months, over years. And every decision you make now, every boundary you hold, every dream you admit out loud, every fear you stop feeding becomes a thread in the life you are weaving. A life rooted not in survival, but in sovereignty. You don't have to force the future. You just have to meet it with open hands, with clear eyes, and with the deep, steady knowing that you were born for this. The golden era isn't coming. You're already inside it. Let it begin.